Yes, I must. Yes, I am that I am that I am. What a beautiful day it is. It is indeed a fabulous day, and we give thanks for this another Mission Monday. Yeah. Today I'll be speaking to one of my favorites, Mrs. Lilith Clacking, who's the president and founder of the Highly Clacking Bipolar Foundation. It's their 6th anniversary, and we are celebrating with them for sure, right? So we're going to be talking. It's a bittersweet. I must say it is bittersweet, but today we want to embrace the sweetness of Highly. Absolutely, the sweetness of him for sure. Greetings, Grand Rising.
Greetings, Sister Denise, Empress. Can you hear me?
I'm hearing you loud and clear. Are you
Oh,
hearing
good,
me?
because I'm at work and I came outside just to be with you.
Oh, wow, that's so special. But today is a special day, Queen. Today
Oh,
is indeed
it's
a
an it's
special
an
day.
yes, it's an
Yes,
extraordinary day.
absolutely. It's extraordinary. It's extraordinary for
Yes, it's
sure.
amazing
Mm-hmm.
because I am celebrating a very, very special human being.
Mm-hmm. For
And I
those.
woke
Mm-hmm.
up
Mm-hmm.
in the land of the living.
Yes.
And before I even greet you and your listeners, I just want to thank my husband.
Mm.
I woke
Yes.
up with tears in my eyes
Mm-hmm.
because Hailey would have been 43 today.
43 years young today, the
Yes,
6th
yes.
of
But
May.
but there is a, as you said, bittersweet because there is a foundation
Mm-hmm.
that lives.
Yes.
And I am so pleased that we're celebrating 6 glorious years
Yes.
of helping others with mental illness.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And just to remind you also, which I'm sure you know, today is World Mental Health Awareness Day. So this day is packed in,
Yes.
in terms of
And the month
celebrating.
of May
And the
is
month
also
of May,
celebrated in the US as Mental Awareness Month, all of
mental,
May.
yes,
So,
all a
yes,
month long, right?
yes.
So 6 years, and it just seems like so much more because you've done so much. Take us to the beginnings of this
Oh,
actual foundation.
the beginning was extraordinary because I must remember Professor Fred Hicklin.
Hicklin.
He was our guest speaker when we launched this foundation,
Mm-hmm.
along with some very powerful poets. So on the 6th of May, 1 year after Haile was killed, 2018 is when we launched this foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And we wanted to do as much as we can. And we have done so much
Mm-hmm.
and continue, we will, to do more for families and for persons who suffer with bipolar disorder and other mental illnesses.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Um, how difficult or easy was it for you to set up the foundation? Because it would take a lot of time, so it could also get you in a more stable mindset because you were involved in doing something for Highly, or was it difficult to start the
Well,
foundation?
the passion to continue his work and his illness and what can be derived
Mm-hmm.
from a foundation was there. The
Right.
bureaucracy in Jamaica, I must have to say it was difficult, very,
Mm.
very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I'm very grateful for some special people at the charities office in Montego Bay
Yes.
who has assisted. But it
Mm-hmm.
was very difficult in Jamaica,
Mm-hmm.
much more easier in the US because
Mm-hmm.
we function here in the US as well, and
Right.
we function in Jamaica. Just the bureaucracy of setting up a charitable organization is very difficult.
So what were
But
the
the
main things?
zeal,
Right. What were the
I'm
main
sorry?
things? What were the main things that made it so difficult? Because if you have all your information, it should be a
Okay.
straightforward project.
No, I would think so, but it was very what they require from every single director, which I understand is important because you do have foundations who are not legitimate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But when you have a foundation that has presented everything that they asked for, And honestly, it took almost 2 to 3 years to
What?
get it set. Yes,
Yes, yes.
yes, yes.
Mm.
But we continued to do our activities and our work
Mm-hmm.
during that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The formalization of
Right,
it is
right.
what is difficult.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
but we
Mm-hmm.
continued, and I must at this time thank the directors are so very able Vice President Ryan Turner, and
Mm-hmm.
we also have some very, very good directors. And I really want to thank them for their continued support. Even when I'm not physically in Jamaica, they
Mm-hmm.
make it happen. So
Yes.
we're really, really grateful to
Beautiful.
those people who are interested in supporting mental wellness for
Mm-hmm.
all.
Very important. So the theme is turning tragedy into
In awareness.
awareness. Expound on that for us, please.
Okay, so on the 23rd of June, 2017,
Mm-hmm.
it was the most tragic day of my life
Mm-hmm.
because I lost my only son. So, out of this tragedy, and it is because of the mental state of my son that caused this tragedy,
Mm-hmm.
we decided that it should be made into an awareness
Right.
of bipolar disorder.
Of course.
So
Of
we
course.
turn tragedy into awareness
Mm-hmm.
by making people aware of the illness,
Mm-hmm.
to destigmatize it, take the stigma off of mental illness, so that people who experience mental illness can seek medical attention without
Mm-hmm.
feeling as if they're no one.
Right. Yes. Very, very important. So, 6 years later, what would you say has been one of, because I know there must have been many stories that you were so inspired by, you were inspired by, in terms of persons who came to your foundation or spoke to you on a level or that you have helped?
Oh, yes, thank you. Thank you for that question, Empress.
Mm-hmm.
We have programs called In Your Own Voices. And
Mm-hmm.
when you speak to people who experience mental illness, that's what impacts me the most.
Mm-hmm.
Because every single person story is unique and different. So you
Mm-hmm.
could not broad brush bipolar disorder saying
Right.
violence or uh, silence, or it's
Mm-hmm.
just every single person display a different experience.
Right. Yes,
And so
yes.
when you hear from the person, you realize how difficult it may be for a
Mm-hmm.
psychiatrist even to evaluate and also to diagnose,
Mm-hmm.
and more important, to give the correct medication
So
for the
how was
individual.
right, but
So
how
it's
was that
very,
done with
very difficult.
yes.
It's a hard road.
How was that done with Hailey? And it was something that you're actually born with, or you discover almost right away, or how do they determine for the
Well,
bipolar
when
for Hailey?
for 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 him individually,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see any form of nothing to say that this person would be
By
having this disease.
on.
Hailey was in university at York University in
Mm-hmm.
his third year,
Mm.
going into his third year,
Mm-hmm.
when he started to display this uh, uh, bipolar disorder. So it
And he
was
was
not
about
even
how old?
properly diagnosed at the time
Mm-hmm.
because he was in his early 20s.
Early
And
20s.
at first, it was diagnosed as schizophrenia. But
Oh
there's
boy.
very, very close
Mm-hmm.
symptoms. And then when he came back to Jamaica, is when he was properly diagnosed with bipolar disorder.
What is
So
the
it's very
difference between the bipolar and schizophrenia?
well, I think the bipolar is the very, very high energy and
Mm-hmm.
then the very, very low.
Low.
So it's
Mm-hmm.
that stark mood swing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was explained to by a psychiatrist, and she said that with schizophrenia and bipolar, you can know the difference.
Mm-hmm.
The bipolar disorder person, their intelligence do not decrease with the
Okay.
disease.
Yes, yes, yes.
So,
Mm-hmm.
there are I'm sure I'm not a psychiatrist. I just lived with this for 16 years.
Yes.
I experienced it for 16 years with my son,
Mm-hmm.
so I can really tell a lot
Of
about it.
course, of course.
But yes,
And
there
you're
are
very involved.
differences, and I
Mm-hmm.
think the treatment can be different too.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the most important difference is the wide mood swings. You can
Yes.
be very elated and
Mm-hmm.
then get very, very down. So I
Mm.
think
So with the
that's one of it.
medication, he was taking his medication, obviously,
Yes,
and
yes,
that.
he was taking
Mm-hmm.
med,
Mm-hmm.
and but then one of the things with bipolar disorder people also, and both men and women, it's very hard to accept that you have a mental illness.
Yes,
So
yes.
sometimes he would not take the
Because
medication.
there's nothing wrong
And
with
then
him.
that will bring you back down to
Mm-hmm.
square one.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's very hard to get you back up to the level that you should have been. So it's really an imbalance in hormones.
Yes,
And if you
yes.
keep on your medication, then you will be balanced
Mm-hmm.
with
Mm-hmm.
with all of your hormones and what it
Right,
takes
right.
to make you function.
So when he was murdered, did what do you know if he was taking his medication? Are you aware that he was taking his
Yes,
medication?
he did go to the doctor on Wednesday
Mm-hmm.
and then he was killed on Friday. He was
Mm.
on medication, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So he went to the doctor on the Wednesday just for a regular checkup?
Yes, he
Mm-hmm.
went regular checkup and
And
medication because
medication.
eventually
Mm-hmm.
when you have a family member who will slip pills, the best way is to probably have the injection,
Mm-hmm.
which that was what
Right.
my son was, yes,
Okay.
eventually, so
Yes.
that it's easier for them and I guess less side effects.
Of course. Of course. Right. So
But
wow.
I want to speak about one of our very main projects that
Please.
we took on, and I'm very, very proud about it. Last year,
Mm-hmm.
we handed over some psychological evaluation kits to
Mm-hmm.
the Southern Regional Health Authority. And we really insisted that these should be used in schools because so many young persons, Haile was a teacher, and so many young persons are displaying mental illness in
Oh
schools.
yes. Oh
And so
yes.
these psychological kits, which were really wanted by the psychologists who we are in touch with and our psychiatrists, and
Mm-hmm.
they told me that they are of very, very big benefit. So
Great.
that was one of our projects. These
What does a
psychological
kit?
kits are
Yes. Go
very
ahead.
expensive in the
Yes.
US.
Mm-hmm.
So we did a big fundraiser,
Yes,
and
I
I must
remember.
thank the US organization for helping us
Mm-hmm.
to purchase these kits. So
Mm-hmm.
they were handed over to Southern Regional Health Authority
Which is
in
where?
December 2023.
Which is where? Where's the Surgeon Regional Health Authority?
But
Where's
well,
it based?
Southern Regional Health Authority is in charge of Clarendon,
Okay.
Manchester, and St. Elizabeth.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
They
great.
are the health sector that deals with the three parishes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. What is in the kit? What do they how do they utilize the kit to benefit children in
Okay, so
schools?
it's written tests and it's an evaluation that they do to each student if and when they display these
Mm-hmm.
behavioral patterns. So all we ask from the foundation is that we know how many students were evaluated
Mm-hmm.
and diagnosed. So I guess this is how they question them.
Yes.
So
More than likely.
schools, maybe principals will alert the psychiatrist or the psychologist in the
Mm-hmm.
area,
Mm-hmm.
and then the parents would be informed as well so that they can give their permission for the child to be evaluated.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's 21 kits that were in what we had presented, but it's
Okay.
an ongoing project that we
Right.
think that if early detection, then we can help our students. Sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
see some really bad behavior, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just a little intervention that they would need.
Okay, great. Now, on a day like today, Lilies, you know you have a wonderful background there. You say you're at work though, but how
Yes,
are you going to spend the rest
I
of your
came.
day? This
I'm
is a
sorry, go ahead.
no,
Go ahead,
no. I was
sister.
saying I heard you say you're at work, and I'm loving the garden that you're in. But this is a very special day for you. How are you going to be spending the rest of the day after work?
Well, after work, I'll be spending in celebrating Heidi's birthday
Mm-hmm.
because even though he's not here to hug and to touch, his memories are so strong.
Of course.
And so the US also celebrates the 6th year. So we will go to a dinner and
Ah,
just, yes,
okay. In the
remember him
States. Yes.
and remember what the foundation can do
Right.
for others.
Beautiful. And as you mentioned that, are there any other events or activities coming up for the rest of 2024? What do you have for your
Oh, yes, for
foundation?
2024, we will have lots of education projects.
Mm-hmm.
And we do, at the end of the year, in November, I should say, we'll be having our grand gala. But
Right.
throughout the year, I know that you are one of our best supporters. You will be hearing more. Last week, we were at the Evers University
Mm-hmm.
in Brooklyn,
Uh-huh.
where we spoke about mental wellness, and we had
Great.
Dr. Saran Heron.
Mm-hmm.
She's a Jamaican who grew up with Hailey. She is
Mm,
actually his cousin, and she was the one who was our guest speaker. So ongoing
beautiful.
projects are around, definitely,
Beautiful.
because we
Yes.
cannot forget our people who need
Mm-hmm.
this support.
Yes. How can persons get in contact with your foundation, whether it's through social media
Thank,
handles, emails, or
thank
phone
you for that
numbers?
question. Yes.
Yes.
For you could contact us at info@ hcbipolarfoundation.org. We're on Instagram at hcbipolar, and we are on Facebook, Highly Clacking Bipolar Foundation. We also have a savings account at National Commercial Bank in Christiana.
Uh-huh.
And if I may give you the savings
Sure.
account, if anyone would like to donate,
Mm-hmm.
it's cash we use to care. So we
Yes,
would
for sure.
appreciate.
For
The
sure.
savings account is 854
Mm-hmm.
409 794. And that's the National Commercial Bank in Christiana.
You can
And
repeat
the
that
savings
number.
account
Mm-hmm.
is HC Bipolar Foundation.
Okay. Can you repeat the number, the account number?
Okay, the savings account number NCB Christiana
Mm-hmm.
854 409 794.
Okay. Well, okay. You know, just before we seal up this conversation today, um, I know it's very emotional. I know it is, even for us here. But we want to ask you about the case. What is the update of the case, the murder case of
Okay.
Hailey?
The next court date is July 8th,
Mm-hmm.
and I am anticipating and hoping that the trial will begin, because I did hear the Chief Justice, Brian Sykes.
Mm-hmm.
He was on radio 2 weeks ago, and he was actually at Black River, and he was encouraging us that the backlogs in the cases have been cleared up. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping that the trial will begin July 8th. I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
Yes, and some
So the next
people.
court date
Mm-hmm.
is July 8th
Mm-hmm.
this year.
And how long ago was Hailey murdered?
Hailey was killed 7 years ago, June coming,
Because the foundation started a year afterwards, and there's
a
six
year
years.
after. He has been dead
Mm.
for 2,509 days.
And you know, you actually, you know, I'm just getting goosebumps
Yes,
because
I
you
do.
make sure that you have us remember the day, the date,
Yes.
and
I'm
it's
sorry.
important. No,
I'm
you don't
sorry
need
if
to be
I
sorry.
do, but
No, no,
every
no, 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 no,
single
no.
day counts
Don't you
that I
dare
am
be sorry for
accounting.
that. Yeah, don't be sorry for that. It has to be said. It has to be out there. We need to know. We
Yes,
need to know. And a lot of people on my are texting me and are saying, and still there's no trial yet.
yes. I'm patiently waiting, and I'm hoping that the justice system of Jamaica
Mm-hmm.
will really do justice for Haile Clackett.
Yes, yes, yes. And we continue to chant and pray and affirm for this case to
Thank
start.
you.
Absolutely. We're
Thank
there
you.
with you
Thank you for the
strong.
strength that you have given us,
Mm-hmm.
Empress.
Mm-hmm. You're
By
welcome.
supporting the foundation, you have supported a lot of people with mental illness.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes. And we thank you too. It was great talking to you. It's always great talking to you, Lilith. And, I'm just so encouraged by your determination, your passion. I mean, after all, it's your son, but, the whole idea of a foundation to keep his name alive. And that also is helping so many persons who have mental health issues. And it's a lot. And as you rightly said, even in the school system now, a lot of our youngsters are having, mental health issues.
Yes.
So, based on your foundation and, the expertise you have in your foundation, people are being helped. And this is what counts.
Yes.
This is what
Yes.
counts. So have a great
Thank you
day.
so
Have a
much.
wonderful dinner,
I will.
and we'll continue to keep highly clocking on our minds, in our spirits, and in our hearts.
God
Enough
bless you,
love.
Empress, and
Thank
God
you.
bless Rootsology 96.1 FM.
Thank you so much. Bless you, bless you,
You're
bless
welcome.
you.
Thank you.
Wow. 6 minutes to the hour of 11 o'clock, always, so emotional, always so filled with love. Mrs. Lilith Clacken. And you hear one of the first things she said? She said she wants to say thank you to her husband because it's an extended family. As far as I can recall, she has 2 daughters, but it's an extended family and other friends and family members. They're going out for dinner to celebrate Heile's Earth Day today on the 6th of May. So, family is so important, and we have to remember that. In cases of tragedy, not only in cases of tragedy, all the time, we have to keep that bond together as families, because that's the only way that we're going to overcome and survive issues like this. So please support the Highly Clocking Bipolar Foundation. Support, because they're doing an extremely outstanding job of helping persons out there who have mental health issues. And those kids went into the school system because somehow or the other our children are suffering. Some of our children are suffering with mental health issues. When was it? Over the weekend, I was walking downtown, and tears. When I look around, everybody is not having a mental health issue, but a lot of people are vagrants. They don't have anywhere to live. And I just cried. I gave what I could give, in terms of money, but that's not enough. There needs to be an ongoing project. I'm hearing that some of them don't want to stay in the home for whatever the spaces they have for them to bathe and to sleep over or whatever. I'm hearing all kinds of stories, but when I walk on King Street, and this is a daily situation if you go down there and go on King Street, and other spaces too. I always wonder, how did it start? How did they end up there? Because we don't really know them story, There's one gentleman, well, he doesn't seem to be homeless, but he comes in a wheelchair. He's a fairly, maybe in his 40s, and he's disfigured. When him tell him stories, say him did get electrocuted. And then after that, him couldn't work, and him family not support him, and one bag of something on King Street. I say, you don't know the story. Sometimes we see people, well, walk and we snap them and push up our nose and go on like we're better than them. We have to stop it. Stop it. Don't do it. Mental health is a serious issue. Can happen to anybody in your family. Come to you. You understand? So do not do it. Don't snap people. Support them. I sometimes I talk, if they will, to just find out what was the story diplomatically. What really go down? How this happened? And family members, I know it's difficult. I know it's extremely difficult, because sometimes you have these family members who are in your house, and they might be, they get all kind of emotional outbursts, all kind of things happen, and I know it's not easy. If they're not taking their medication, these things can happen. Thank God for a family that highly had, in terms of caring mom and father, and who were aware about what was going on and was able to assist. But, boy, we salute Highly Clacken for his great work as a teacher and as a journalist and as a great father, I think as a poet. You see how many caps him wear? You see how many caps he wear, Mr. Security? You see how many hats he wore? And he's no longer here with us in the physical plane. But trust me, he's an ancestor. And the amount of exposure that he has now gotten probably would have surpassed what would have happened if he was still alive. It's just another way of looking at it. So we thank Mr. and Mrs. Clacken and family and extended family for the great work that you're doing with the foundation. We salute you. And we will always be here on Rootsology to give you a hearing ear. All right? Okay, thank you so much. You guys can make comments on the Facebook pages. You can ask questions if you need more information. And I'm going to ask the Leaf to send the information either on the link, the live, or on WhatsApp. Once again, the bank information and the phone numbers. All right? Okay, so it's a minute to the hour of 11 o'clock. We're going to take a pause for the calls because Arlene won't be in today for the rest of this week because she gets a little roast, you know? So we support that for sure. She won't be in again until next week. She gets a little job. So, of course, we support that. But we'll be on and we're going to be talking about Mecwa Talk. And, of course, it is indeed Nurses Day, International Nurses Week. And so we'll be talking about, and we continue with the mental health situation as well, all right, in Mecwa Talk. All right, so if you have any, any statements you want to make, anything you want to say, any questions you want to ask, please feel free to do so. We're going to take a break and soon come.
Denise, Isis Miller with